This weekend will have a postseason feel to it, and maybe it's a preview of what is ahead. It is game one of a three-game series between the NL West leading San Diego Padres and the two-time defending National League champion Philadelphia Phillies. Great to have you along, Mark, dealing with Mark Grant. Mud, the only thing that is missing is the red, white, and blue bunting out there. There is some extra sizzle to this series.
Not only out on the streets outside of Petco Park, but in the hallways here at Petco Park on the field. People are filing in. It is the dog days, but the Padres are playing good baseball. This could be October matchup, Phillies and Padres. We'll have to see. It's 127 game for the San Diego Padres. Just another game for these guys. Hopefully they get on another winning streak.
Well, the Phillies were just swept at home by Roy Oswalt's old team, the Houston Astros, and yesterday the Phillies scored one run. The 29th time this season they have scored one run or less.
And you know as well as anybody, this Philly team has the potential of putting up some big-time runs. When they've got guys like Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, Placido Polanco, Jason Worth, they're not scoring runs, but they are capable of breaking out. Now, this is a team that has seen mediocre pitching over the last 5-6 days. I've talked to some of the Philly announcers. They said, you know what? We're just not hitting the ball. Our big boys aren't coming through. So hopefully for the Padres, this is not a mediocre pitcher that's pitching tonight. Hopefully Matt Latos can keep the trend alive of those Philadelphia Philly slumping bats.
Yeah, Raul Ibanez was the only Phillies regular to hit over 300 on their last homestand. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup for tonight, and a good one it is, as Roy Oswalt will be going for the Philadelphia Phillies. He has double-digit win totals in 8 of his 9 Major League seasons, and he goes for overall win number 10 on the season tonight. Matt Latos owns the major's best opponent's batting average against, limiting hitters to a 192 average. Tonight's pitching matchup is presented by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Roy Oswalt has won his last 3 starts, and he has 10-2 lifetime against the Padres. Matt Latos has allowed 2 runs or less in each of his last 12 starts, a club record. The first pitch is straight ahead. Between the Padres and Phillies. Our closed captioning tonight brought to you by Corky's. Don't let termites steal home, especially your home. Call Corky's at 1-800-901-1102. Take a look at the Fight and Phil's lineup for Charlie Manuel tonight, brought to you by Floor Trader. Pay way less for your flooring and take it home today. Now open in Lemon Grove. They have Rollins out front, then Polanco, Utley, 322 career average against the Padres. With Howard batting cleanup, Worth, Ibanez, Victorino is in the 7th spot with Ruiz catching, and then the pitcher Roy Oswalt. Charlie Manuel, his team has dealt with some adversity this year with all the injuries.
They have, and you know, Charlie Manuel's been their 6 years. This is his 6th season. There's been times when this man has been in the hot seat, but the Phils find some way to really make things work out. They've won a world championship under Charlie Manuel. They won the National League under Charlie Manuel. He's got the right tools. They're just kind of in a little slump right now. We just got them talking about the pregame show.
And hopefully they don't break out of it, at least this weekend, as they face Matt Latos at our starting pitching profile, brought to you by the Mark Condos. Luxurious downtown San Diego condos from the 300s. Go to themarksandiego.com.
Well, Matt Latos knows that the Philadelphia Phillies are struggling. He goes over the scouting report. So the main thing for Matt Latos, stay with his strengths. Boy, what he has been doing recently. And, you know, I'm surprised nobody has said, even the win-loss record, this guy's got Cy Young numbers he's been putting up lately.
His first pitch up high, and we are underway from Petco Park. Great to have you along to start this weekend series. Switch hitting shortstop Jimmy Rollins, one of many that has spent time on the disabled list. In fact, he's had 2 different stints on the DL. His was for a right calf strain. The Blacks Padres have quickly put in the rearview mirror an 11-5 loss yesterday to Arizona, and that slapped to left. Venable will play it on a bounce. And Rollins just kind of guided it into left field, and a base hit is the way this game begins. Here's the Padre defense tonight, brought to you by Easy Turf Synthetic Lawns and Putting Greens. The best-looking synthetic grass is now more affordable. Call 866 Easy Turf. It's Venable, Durango, Ludwig in the outfield, Headley and Adrian at the corners, with Tejada and Eck up the middle, with Torrey Alba back in the lineup catching tonight.
Fewest errors in the National League, 51. Cincinnati Redlegs, 52.
.989 fielding percentage for the Padres, as you alluded to, best in the National League. Polanco takes a strike. Placido Polanco recently came off the disabled list a little over a month ago after a left elbow injury. He is 5th currently in the National League with that .314 average. A check on Rollins. 15 steals for Rollins, and he's only been caught 1 time.
Well, he was missed when he was out of the lineup, huh? At the top of the order, Shane Victorino was filling in. So the lineup we're looking at tonight is what Charlie Manuel is hoping for the rest of the year. That's pretty much the way their lineup is when they're going well.
They've only had their regulars altogether in the lineup less than a dozen times this year. So there's a lot that Charlie Manuel's team has had to deal with. And even though they have lost 4 in a row coming in, just 3 games out of first in the National League East and a half game behind the Giants in the wild card race. Quick throw over, and Rollins dives back. You know, a statistic that Phillies fans pay close attention to is Jimmy Rollins. When he scores a run, Phillies are 23-6. He is running, and it's swung on and hit down the right field side and fading foul. Only been caught once this year.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a great jump. Sometimes it's the catching. Sometimes the pitchers don't pay attention. They worry about throwing good strikes. You see Polanco, the number 2 hitter, pretty good number 2 hitter. Speed, bat control at the plate. It's a pretty good combo.
Another check on Rollins. The frequency of his steals down this year, but that really is due to the time he has spent on the disabled list. At 31 stolen bases in a full season last year. 47 2 years ago. And a step off, and then the fake by Latos to first.
Well, that infield looks, the track looks kind of moist, doesn't it? After them watering, it's cloudy tonight. Kind of moisture in the air.
Taking a little extra time to dry up. Is Rollins running? This time he is not. And did he go? Appeal, yes, says Las Diaz, the first base umpire. We have Polanco fans for the first out.
Couldn't hold up. Polanco, oh, if he hits that one, it's a double in the gap. And at least Las Diaz agrees.
Matos hitting 96 with that last fastball. He can add and subtract to that heater and does so well.
Absolutely. He'll get ahead with the fastball, 92, 93-ish, and then he'll reach back for a little extra when he needs it. Oh, yeah.
How do you spell extra, by the way? It's got a Y on it.
E-X-T-R-E-E-E.
Check on Rollins. Another guy the Phillies missed for an extended period, Chase Utley. Just 43 games with a left thumb injury. In fact, had to have ligament surgery on the thumb, which took place on July 1st. Up high to Utley. Only been back a couple of weeks. Phillies come in 70-57. Losers of 4 in a row, dropped 6 of their last 8, all at home. And the crazy thing about their offensive numbers, which were so low, but all of that was going on at their home ballpark, which is such a good hitter's park.
And we talked about this yesterday. What scares us about the Philadelphia Phillies? They're a team that can bust out. I mean, let's face it. The Padres' offense is what it is, right? I mean, they scrap. They do the right things. They hit behind the runners. They steal a base here and there. Their offense. But we also know on the flip side what the Phillies' offense is like.
Very explosive.
Oh, 3-run shots.
A high strike to Utley. The ball and a strike.
Over a handful of guys who can put the ball into the ballpark. I mean, granted, everybody on the Padre lineup can do that as well. But this is just a different team, the Philadelphia Phillies. We know that man, Adrian Gonzalez, can hit the ball out of the ballpark anytime.
1 on, 1 out, just underway. The Phillies' first inning. Utley gets the 95-mile-per-hour fastball low. Couple extra days rest this time through the rotation for Latos.
Could be a little extra strong.
Which is certainly a true entity for pitchers, right?
Absolutely, especially a young pitcher like Matt Latos. Especially the crowd here tonight. It's going to be a good crowd. The lineup that he is facing. Matt's fired up. I think that's one of the things that he has learned, though, over the course of this season, is to know when to add a little bit, take a little bit off, and keep his emotions in check on the mound.
Rollins not running on the 2-1 pitch, and there's a fastball strike at 94. Matt has matured on so many levels this year.
It was a great article in the UT this morning.
Good. Well chronicled. Mm-hmm. Long look by Latos and then spins one over to first.
I think Matt Latos also is the type of pitcher with his type of stuff that he can go over to Rollins and make sure that he stays back and make him aware that he's out there, but still has good enough stuff, quick enough to the plate to where he can concentrate on making a good pitch.
Shallow left, and Venable trots in. 2 outs. Perfect example. Good pitch there to Utley.
Perfect example. Speed at first. Utley a good hitter. And Matt used the abbreviated leg kick. It looked like he was quick to the plate. But when you look at where that pitch was, it was down in the zone where he couldn't get hurt. Look at the downward plane on this pitch. That is down for a strike. Utley just, he really kept his head down on that one, huh? Very different looking hack from Chase Utley. But a great pitch from Matt Latos.
So 2 away as big Ryan Howard steps in. His season numbers show the 23 homers and 82 RBIs, which are Philly team highs. Fastball, strike 1. Howard has hit well historically at Petco. .353 average here at Petco Park in his career. 5 home runs 19 RBIs as well at Petco.
Last 8 games for big Ryan Howard, 3 for 24.
Very indicative of what's going on with their offense.
Look at the movement on that fastball. Unbelievable. That ball straightened up Ryan Howard.
And it tailed towards the outside.
And it ends up right down the middle of the plate. Look at this. Ryan Howard kind of checks his swing, and you're right, that's outer third. Little two-seam piece at 95. Oh,
Uno, dos.
Adios.
2 strikeouts in the inning for Latos, who works around the leadoff single by Jimmy Rollins. Eck leading off last of the first, and Roy Oswalt with a first pitch strike. Starting pitching profile brought to you by the all-new Cadillac SRX, the Cadillac of crossovers.
Roy Oswalt, fastball, slider, curve, change, and it's fair to say his out pitch is every pitch.
Eck shoots it foul right side, nothing at 2. And the first 2 pitches from Oswalt, fastballs at 93.
He'll throw a lot of fastballs. He'll throw that curveball and the changeup. I would say the slider might be his second or third pitch, depending on how he gets the feel for it early.
Eck puts it on the ground on a couple of hops to Ryan Howard. 3 unassisted. Leadoff man retired. Padre lineup brought to you by Alpine Rock and Block. Start your next backyard project with Alpine Rock and Block. After Eck tonight, Tejada in the 2 spot with Adrian Gonzalez. Good career numbers against Oswalt. Ludwig hitting cleanup. Headley, Venable, Torrealba. Luis Durango getting the start at center. With Latos pitching. No Jerry Hairston in the lineup tonight. We have heard in the Honda Dealer pregame show an elbow situation with Jerry may keep him out of this series. So no Hairstons in the lineup tonight. That's been pretty rare this season.
Pretty odd, because Jerry's been a main guy in that lineup, depending on where he's playing. There he is. He's got the elbow wrapped a little bit. We wish him well.
Tejada chops it to the right side. Chase Utley. 2 ground ball outs in the Padres first. Phillies defense is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Sabanez, Victorino, and Worth left to right in the outfield. Polanco back in the Phillies organization playing the hot corner. Rollins and Utley up the middle with Ryan Howard at first. And Carlos Ruiz, a very underappreciated catcher, coming into his own for the Phillies.
Handles pitchers well, blocks the ball, great behind home plate. Hey, anytime you get a guy like Roy Oswalt acquired on your team. It's got to make a catcher happy, huh? To catch a guy like Roy.
Now, this is the second time in 6 weeks that Oswalt and Latos have hooked up. Here on July 2nd, Oswalt was with Houston still. Each put up zeros. Swing and a miss by Adrian. Remember in that game, Brad Mills, the Houston manager, had a decision in the 8th, and he pinch hit for Oswalt. Then the Padres got 3 in the bottom of the 8th off the Astros bullpen to win that game 3-0. 0-2. Adrian pops it up. Jimmy Rollins, the shortstop, calling for it. A 7-pitch first for Roy Oswalt. No score after 1 from Petco. It's 14 and younger. Take home a Padres metal lunchbox presented by Bank of America. Get your tickets today online at Padres.com. Back to school time again.
3 best words in the English language.
Spoken like a true parent. Jason Worth takes a strike on a fastball from Latos.
Jason Worth, 7 for 30 last 8 games. That's a 233 clip. But we know that he can put a hurting on you. Yes, he did.
Appeal, and Laz Diaz confirming 0-2. And he working that gum over pretty good as usual. Ahead of the count, the 0-2. Goes to the breaking ball, and it's fouled back.
That's the old equalizer there. That one wasn't one of his sharpest curveballs either. This one just kind of rolled up there. Does he kind of slow down the arm angle a little bit? No, not really. Just didn't get it down. That ball is right down the center of the dish.
Fly to right, shallow. Ludwig racing towards the line and makes the running catch in fair territory. Long run for Ryan Ludwig. We've seen just how good an outfielder he is the past couple of weeks.
Doesn't look like he's got blazing speed, but he read the ball off the bat well, going to his left. And then put on the Jake brakes there. You got the Brian Buchanan Memorial Wall.
Here's Raul Ibanez, the left fielder. Curve for strike 1.
Hey, Brian Buchanan went over that wall before that addition was built on there. And it was like a 5.6 on the Richter scale when he landed on the other side.
Big boom, huh?
Well,
fastball just missing the outside corner. Ibanez with a career high 18-game hitting streak and ended not all that long ago. And the month of August. Another borderline pitch, missing 2-1. Goes back to the bender and another appeal. This time down to third base, and John Hirschbeck says he didn't go around.
Well, let's take a look. This is a tough pitch to lay off. I think he went.
I do too. Fastball rolled up the first baseline, foul.
I mean, a ball goes by a hitter and he looks at it, I think he goes.
Yeah, you have a pitcher's perspective, no doubt. But most of the time, hitters do go. It's really tough to check.
And I'm not
swing.
just saying that because, you know, being a former pitcher, it's just that the bat travels the way it does. I think it's a legitimate call.
Well, he chased that high one, the off-speed pitch. That was up and out of the zone, and that's the third strikeout for Latos.
Mark, he threw him a bad changeup there. It was out of the zone, but out of the hand, it looks like a strike. And you commit, you just cannot slow up that bat. And Ibanez goes down swinging. A lot of swings and misses also by this Philadelphia Philly team the last 8 games. Hence the bad numbers the last 8 games.
And facing a guy tonight, Latos, who has swing and miss stuff. Former Padre Shane Victorino takes down and away. Victorino's DL stint was due to a left abdominal strain. Came off less than a couple of weeks ago. Off-speed strike.
It looked like he broke out the changeup again. You know, that was either a changeup or a backup slider. Kind of tough to tell. Sometimes the slider will back up on you.
Victorino fouls off the first fastball he sees in this sequence, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Switch hitting Victorino. Better numbers, better average anyway from the other side of the plate, right-handed. Pops it up left side, and Chase Headley under it. Latos has retired the last 6 he's faced. Ludwig, Headley, and Venable coming up for the Padres. No score, bottom of the second, as the middle 3 come up for the Padres. Ryan Ludwig leading off against Roy Oswalt. Was in strike 1. First pitch, changeup.
Yeah.
Season average for Ludwig. He floats it to shallow right, and it's in between Utley and Rourke for a base hit. A little flare falling in. The Padres have their first hit of the night.
It's a nice approach shot by Ryan Ludwig. He got the sand wedge out, and he just puts it right on the green nicely. It checks up. 4 feet for par. Way to fight off that pitch.
Chase Headley is over a 300 lifetime average against Oswalt, including a home run. .277 on the season. The average still about 100 points better from this side of the plate. Runner takes off and a throw down to second. Ludwig out easily as Rollins tagged him out.
I wonder if there's a missed sign or something like that, because Chase Headley looks at this pitch and not the greatest jump, and Ryan Ludwig does not have the greatest speed. Ruiz only throwing out 21%. Ooh, a little spike into the forearm of Jimmy Rollins.
So the base runner quickly erased. A strike from Oswalt. That first pitch to Headley that was out of the zone, the first ball that he had thrown. Everything else had been in the strike zone. Well, he's thrown 13 pitches to this point, 12 strikes. Down to the dirt, blocked by Ruiz to his right. Ruiz shaken up, hobbling. They got him on the inside of that right leg. Giants in action tonight. And good news so far, Adam LaRoche, 3-run home run. So an early lead for Arizona. Padres began tonight with a 6-game lead over second place San Francisco. The Giants with a half-game lead in the wild card over these Phillies. Two. That will get out of play left side.
Trying to fool him with the changeup, and Chase gets a piece of it just to stay alive. The key about Roy Oswalt, his arm action is the same on every single pitch. The fastball, the curveball, the changeup, the slider. Great arm action through the throwing zone.
Right center field. Down for a hit. Quickly cut off and a bounce by Jason Worth. And it's a single for Chase Headley.
Generally speaking, you're going to get some good pitches hit against Roy Oswalt. The fastball in the zone. Sometimes he'll hit a little wild streak here and there. He'll get ahead and throw the curveball in the dirt. But Chase Headley gets a fastball that's down the middle of the plate and maybe in a little bit. Fights it off like Ryan Ludwig did.
Venable pops the first pitch up. Shallow center. Rollins out. Now he's called off by Victorino. 2 down. Oswalt did not face his old Astros team in their just completed series. By the way, with the Astros sweeping Philadelphia, quick throw over to first. Chase gets back. That's the first time the Phillies have been swept in a 4-game series since they moved into Citizens Bank Park. Oswalt, the one starter that did not face the Astros in that 4-game set.
Ooh, very close. Just got the hand in there in time. Oswalt also going from the first base side of that rubber, so it's a closer throw.
Strike on the inner half to Torey Alba. Beat out of the lineup yesterday. Well deserved. He's been taking some punishment behind the plate.
Yes, he has. Getting beat up.
There goes Headley, wave and a miss, throw down to second, the tag put on by Utley. So the Padres make 2 of the outs in the inning on the bases with Ruiz throwing out Ludwig and Headley. The Western Metal Concert Series presented by Ashford University, featuring great acts like Duel, the special guest Colby Calais, Friday, November 5th. John Legend with special guest Macy Gray, Saturday, November 6th. Go to Padres.com/concerts for all the details. 8-9 and 1 hitters for the Phils. Ruiz takes a breaking ball high for ball one. Pleasure to have in the booth Padres President and COO Tom Garfinkel. Hello,
hey,
Tom.
Mark, how you doing?
Good to see
Tommy?
you, sir.
Bud,
how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
It's going to be a fun weekend.
It's going to be a great weekend. You know, the way the team's playing right now, it's always fun at Petco Park, and I think we've been working real hard to listen to the fans and try to get everything going here. We've got a good crowd tonight. We'll have we're close to a sellout tomorrow night, and it should be a great weekend all the way around.
Very fun environment. Ruiz takes down low. Now the following homestand, the San Diego Padres, where people will actually stand up to cancer, physically stand up to cancer during a Padres-Giants game.
Well, as you know, we had Ray Liotta in the booth earlier in the year and announced our association with Stand Up to Cancer, which is something that the commissioner really was the first to put a lot of money in. So we're really following the commissioner and Major League Baseball's lead here with supporting Stand Up to Cancer, which is a very results-driven, collaborative approach to beating cancer. And we had Ray, as you mentioned. Ray was in the booth.
Tom, what are we going to do? I can't go in the booth. What?
But we had an intern named Brian, a guy who was the football equipment manager at Notre Dame, who we hired as an intern, and we call him Rudy. And
on the ground out to short, and Miggy throws out Ruiz.
Rudy had this idea to do something called Stand Diego. And so we have sections in the ballpark where you can buy tickets and go online at Padres.com/SU2C. And you can, or just go to Padres.com and click on the link. And people will be standing up the entire game.
Yeah, that's September 9th. And it's section 133 that the fans are going to be standing.
133.
Kind of like a student section at a college basketball game or a college football game. That's pretty.
Yeah, I think that was Rudy's number. I'm not sure. But, so they'll be standing up the whole time. All the net proceeds go to Stand Up to Cancer. We're really proud of the association. In fact, I had a gentleman downstairs come up to me before the game and say, excuse me, and shake my hand and say, look, I just want to thank you for everything the Padres are doing for Stand Up to Cancer. He said, I have pancreatic cancer. And it means so much to me and my family for what you're doing. And we hear that a lot from folks. Just everybody's affected by this terrible disease, so we're proud of the association.
Oswald on the ground out to Eck. And 2 ground ball outs in the Phillies' third inning.
I like the way the inning's going.
By the way, do you do any other imitations? That was a pretty good.
I do a few. Yeah. Ray was easy. I decided he's not really an actor. He's just Ray.
He just does himself, huh?
I got to go on TV. I can't go on TV. You got to go with me. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do.
So he was pretty good. Hey,
there's some information right there, Tom.
There's
People
the Stand Up to Cancer.
Stand Up to Cancer.
And the
Giants
website.
Padres, Thursday, September 9th.
I want to ask, how many of the walls have you signed? Have people signed down there?
Yeah, they're done. We've got the panels for the walls. The entire outfield wall will be filled with panels with people's names. And in fact, we're gonna roll it out now on that Saturday game against the Reds. We'll be on Fox National Television, and we'll be proud to have all the walls filled with the names of people came down and signed on the walls.
Looking forward to that.
We have the concerts that we've announced now, the Western Metal Concert Series, presented by Ashford University that you mentioned. All the net proceeds from the concert series with Jewel and John Legend coming in with Macy Gray and Colby Calais. All the proceeds from that will go to Stand Up to Cancer as well.
I signed the wall. What, you signed the wall?
I signed the wall, yep.
I think we all three
We had
did.
a camera crew here. Remember, we were shooting commercials about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Broken bat. Rollins, shallow center. And a sliding Eck can't come up with it. Now, Headley was racing towards third. His second was uncovered momentarily, which Rollins picked up on, but he's at first with a 2-out single.
Well, Mark said before the game time that the only thing missing in this series with the Buzz here is the bunting.
Yeah,
the red, white, blue bunting on the upper decks to indicate it's a playoff game. This could be October baseball.
It's a big series. We've had a few of them. There's some wins that really stand out. I think the big win at Colorado right before the All-Star break certainly had a playoff atmosphere. And this whole weekend, this is certainly a real big series for us. I know that obviously the Giants series up in San Francisco recently, where we took 2 or 3, was a big series. And the next several weeks of baseball here are going to be really, really big. We've got some tough opponents coming in, and A lot of home games. I think we've got 35 games left. 20 of them are home games, and the Reds coming in town. The Phillies obviously this weekend. A lot of tough series coming up.
Right back up the middle and into center field, and Polanco with a base hit. Rollins down to second, and it's 2 on, 2 outs.
But I'll tell you, I couldn't be more proud of the team, the way these players are playing, the job that Jed Hoyer and his staff have done, the job that Buddy and his coaching staff are doing. I was on the road trip in Chicago. Jeff and I were in Milwaukee as well, and just watching these guys interact, early few hours before the game, watching them interact, even at the hotel. These guys are going to bed. They're getting up early, but they're serious, but they're also loose, and they approach each game one game at a time. They're trying to go out there and win each night and not look past that. And talking to Clayton Richard before the game, we had about 60 University of Michigan alumni here tonight, and Clayton was nice enough to come over. But
would you be 61, by the way?
yeah, it would go blue. But he was down there and talking about it. He said, Tom, this is the most fun I've ever had playing baseball, and this is the most fun team I've ever been on in my whole life. So that goes back to Little League and high school and everything else. So these guys, they really hold each other accountable. They cheer for each other. They root for each other. And it's fun to be a part of. It's fun to watch.
Well, certainly us here in the booth, I think, believed much sooner than the national community did. Did you guys get a sense at some point like, hey, I think the rest of the country's catching on to how good this team is?
Well, we've certainly seen in the last several weeks, national sports writers like Mike Lupica writing a big story about the Padres. Fox has decided to pick up the rest of our Saturday home games, and incidentally, just so folks know, the rest of our Saturday home games this year will be at 1 o'clock, not at 5:35, because of those national broadcasts. But the country's starting to take notice. Certainly, we have a long way to go and a lot of tough opponents to get through, and it's a tough division. But we're proud of it. The guys just don't let up. Even yesterday, disappointing start to the game, but they never quit. They never stop fighting.
Sneaks into center field, and Rollins headed to the plate. And the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. Utley with his 41st run batted in. The ball screened by Latos, and then Miggy with a diving attempt. And Utley knocks in the game's first run with that sharp single.
Well, if you're going to give up 3 singles, or I should say 3 hits in a row, and they're all singles, I'll take that. The Phillies playing station-to-station baseball, 2 outs off of the crack of the bat. But one thing that the Phillies have done this inning, straight up the box, Rollins, Polanco, Utley, staying on the ball, just trying to play a little pepper. They get on the ball first. But you know what? If that's the way it's going to go as a pitcher, I'll take my chances against a team like this. Single, single, single.
Ryan Howard, who was called out on strikes, took 3 pitches from Latos in the first. Matt trying to get through this 3rd inning. Phillies on the board. A little bit low with the fastball for ball 1. And there's the rest of this series. Saturday, Sunday, then on the road to Arizona, then the next homestand. 3 divisional foes, Colorado, the Dodgers, and then the Giants all come to town. And, of course, September 9th is the San Diego game.
It's the night before the national telecast for Stand Up to Cancer is having a telethon in Los Angeles. So we'll be preceding that. But Stand Up to Cancer, it's an incredibly impressive group. They've got these dream teams, the pancreatic cancer dream team, the lung cancer dream team, the breast cancer dream team. They've brought in the researchers from around the world and have them working together. And one of them told me, I've said this before, but for the first time, we're not competing against each other. We're competing against the disease. Mm-hmm. And that's a real compelling, results-oriented approach to fighting cancer, a terrible disease that really everybody's affected with one way or another, from a loved one or a family member or even yourself. So,
how's it going as far as raising funds here at Petco Park from the fans?
It's going well. We're on a path, I think, to achieve our goal of $500,000 was our goal we set out for ourselves. And we think with the concerts and others, there we go.
Got him looking. Strikes out Howard for the 2nd time. Phils do get a run on 3 2-out hits. Tom Garfinkel, thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Padres president and COO. Phillies do get 1 on 3 consecutive 2-out hits. Bottom of the order coming up when we come back. Lolita's at the Park, where you can enjoy a wonderful evening happy hour 7 days a week. By Irving Hughes. Life is a lease. Negotiate well. And brought to you by Mass Mutual, a company owned by its policyholders. Glad to have you with us tonight, Mark Neely and Mark Grant, and our great Channel 4 crew from Petco Park. The opener of this three-game series, the Padres and Phillies into the last of the third. Torrealba leading off. Who beats average. An impressive 288. He drills one to left. Ibanez retreating. It's over his head and out of here. Number 4 for Torrealba. And this game is quickly tied at 1. How's that for a quick response?
Getting right back on the board after the 1 point by the Phils. Put a notch in Yorvi Torrealba's shillelagh, would you? Oswalt misses with the location of the fastball. He wanted it down away, and Yorvi drops the head. A la Calle.
32nd run batted in. That's got Bud fired up, and it's a 1-1 game.
Now that is some kind of nice.
Durango squares and takes a strike. 16th home run that Oswalt has allowed this year.
Since he's been a Phil, only the third in 35 plus innings.
Good quick math on your part.
You like that? So just to elaborate, we were talking about last inning, about yesterday's defeat, 11-5. Every one of those guys in that dugout with Padres on their chest, you know what they said when they were in the clubhouse?
What's that?
It was a fluke. Just one of those things.
It happens when you play 162.
Hey, we'll get them tomorrow.
Chop foul behind the plate. Well, we expect a low-scoring game with Latos and Oswalt the starting pitchers. Perhaps the odd way is how each team has scored. Phillies scoring kind of in a Padre fashion with 3 singles. Yep. The Phillies usually using the home run ball, but it's the Padres that have used the long ball to tie this one up. Thanks to the Torrealba home run. Well, Beat hasn't hit a ton of home runs, but he's hit some key ones in big spots. He helped Tyre take the lead. Strike 3 called to Durango. That's the first strikeout for Roy Oswalt. This SAP telecast is brought to you by the Philly Cheesesteak Burger at Carl's Jr. It's a Philly cheesesteak on a burger.
That's appropriate, huh?
Playing the Phils. The Fightins.
The Fighting Phils.
Rito's taking a rip at the 94-mile-per-hour heater. He has a home run this season, which came at Washington. Sharply hit on the ground, but Polanco fields and throws out Latos, 2 gone.
Heck, taking a little bit of extra time so his young pitcher can go back and kind of rest a little bit. And you know he's going to be taking a strike, right?
That's what he does. Done a nice job at the top of the order.
Kind of do some landscaping in the batter's box. Look down, tug at the cap. He looks in the dugout. Hey, Matty, you sit down? Okay, we can get going now. You know, telling Matt Latos to sit down after an at-bat's kind of telling a 5-year-old after just eating a cup of sugar to, you know, hey, tone it down a little bit. Right?
Foul back. Yeah, he's got some energy, that young man.
New stick of gum. Ready to go back to work. The top of the 4th.
Oswalt's 0-2. Eck guides it up the middle and into right center. Base hit for Eck. Just took that slider right back through the box. Hit number 4 for San Diego. Gives Miguel Tejada a 2-out chance. Looks like Miggy's starting to feel more comfortable as a Padre.
Yep. He always gives you a good at-bat.
One of his 2 Padre home runs coming in that Arizona series. And boy, did he square one up and send it to the Padre bullpen beyond the left center field fence. For Tejada, his 25th game with San Diego. Heck, diving back.
I mean, how clutch is that? Eckstein getting a knock, right? You throw over because you think something might be on. Giving Latos a little bit extra breather.
Broken bat, ground ball. Polanco avoids the barrel of the bat, picks up the baseball and throws across to get Tejada. But the Padres are able to tie it as Torrealba led off the frame with his 4th home run of the season. After 3, Phils 1, Padres 1. High Definition is brought to you by Irving Hughes. Life is a lease. Negotiate well. 1-1 top of the 4th. The Phillies' Jason Worth leading off at a drive left field. Venable back at the fence. Leaping! And comes down with it! Venable takes a home run away from Jason Worth! How about that play from William?
Snatch it back. What great concentration. That fence gives a little bit, but his head hit up against that padded rail up there. Nice grab by Will. Huge.
Hadn't been playing a lot of left field.
No. And I'll be quite honest with you. I thought when that ball was hit, it was going to be about maybe 2 rows back. A, because of the swing by Jason Worth, and you know how strong he is. And the sound of the ball off the bat gave you that indication. But what a great play by Will Venable. How you doing?
Outside and high to Ibanez. 2 balls and a strike.
You mean that doesn't pick up your pitcher? How do you think Matt Latos feels right now?
A little extra jolt to energy, I would think. Out of play left side. That's pretty much just pulling a run right off the board.
Absolutely. After giving one up, getting one right back and then taking one back.
Broken back, ground ball to Eck. 2 outs.
And as a hitter, and we talked about this in the pregame show, when you're struggling like they are, and you hit a ball like that, that's a kick in the gut.
Especially for a team that's been scuffling to score runs, like the Phillies have been recently. That ball at Citizens Bank Park would have been at Scranton.
Yeah, you're right. We've seen swings.
We've seen pop-ups out of that ballpark.
I'm not saying it was a bad swing, but Jason went down and got it, right? It wasn't his full out of your shoes. We've seen swings worse than that with not a lot of oomph behind it get out of that ballpark.
Oh, easy. Oh, where's that home run earlier this year at Citizens Bank when these two teams played? What wasn't Garland? I think he thought it was going to be a fly ball to center, and Harrison kept going and going and going, and it went out of the ballpark.
It was an opposite field fly ball.
Yeah, it was kind of right center. All right. 1-1 pitch. Down low to Victorino. Garland kind of gave a look like, are you kidding me?
I think he was actually starting to walk off the mound a little bit.
Two-1 to Victorino. Eck gobbles that up. Not your routine 3-up, 3-down inning, but Will Venable robs Jason Worth.
Matt Latos is going to give him a big old kiss in that dugout.
Total is identical so far. Phillies and Padres 1-1 into the home half of the fourth. And Adrian Gonzalez leading off. Down the left field side. Slicing foul. Well, and Venable came into the dugout. As you can imagine, he received a very warm reception.
Matt Latos there with the high five. The pad on the backside. Let's go to Hackett.
Nothing at 2 on Adrian, who popped out to the shortstop Rollins in the first. And he goes around on the high fastball, 1 out. Well, after Benny Latos got back to the dugout, a chance to get a little more physical with Will.
Oh, got to take care of a man. Yeah, I love that. You know what that tells a pitcher? I've just got to concentrate with Yorby hitting the glove with my stuff. My defense can take away runs like that. If my defense can make plays behind me, chances are I'm going to have a good night.
Breaking ball, strike to Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig flared one into right for a base hit his first time up, leading off the second. Oswalt back to the fastball at 94, and it is 0-2.
Hey, Oswalt's got to start finding the strike zone.
Yeah, he's throwing
39 pitches, 34 for strikes. That is unbelievable.
Quit nibbling, Roy.
Yeah.
Coming right after him.
And granted, when he gets ahead, hitters will swing at bad pitches, right? Adrian's swinging a pitch up and out of the zone. But it's getting ahead, like any pitcher, that's a key. With his plus stuff, hitters are going to swing at bad pitches. Just like with Matt Latos when he drops that curveball or slider.
Up the middle and into center, and Ludwig 2 for 2. He singles with 1 out.
Ryan Ludwig has fought off 2 Roy Oswalt pitches tonight very nicely. And we know that Ludwig can come out of his shoes and put one out of the park, right? He fights off 2 good pitches for singles.
The 5th Padres hit of the game off Roy Oswalt. Chase Headley on the inner half, strike 1. Chase with a base hit to right center his first time, and as Ludwig was getting out to his lead, Oswalt with a casual throw to first.
You know what's great about games like this, and I don't need to tell the fans this because they know already, but it's worth mentioning. If both pitchers, Oswalt, Latos, on their game, right? A game like this is what makes it so fun. Pitchers duel, maybe one mistake here or there that can make the difference in the game. That's what I like. That's when the defense is on their game.
I'm with you on that. I know a lot of baseball fans have become accustomed to the higher scoring games, and nothing better than a good pitcher's duel, is there? Especially with the caliber of these arms.
I think it brings out the finer points of the game of baseball. Does it not?
It does.
From every aspect. The running game, the hitting behind the runner game, the stolen base.
When you have to scratch and claw for everything you get,
it's the story of my life.
The nuances of baseball.
There's always the 12th guy.
There's a lot of dirt under those nails, I've noticed.
Chase has got to be thinking left field here. I'll see now the breaking ball down and in. That's tough. So he's got to protect.
Oswalt has gotten ahead of 12 of the 14 Padre hitters tonight with first pitch strikes. Has not fallen behind in a count yet. Right to the first baseman, Howard. Goes to second. Rollins return. And they go 3-6-3. Phillies turn 2 to end the Padre 4th inning. It remains 1-1.
Mid-game recap brought to you by Murray Lambert Construction. Do you need more space? Maybe for a new guest? Visit MurrayLambert.com to see how easy and affordable a room addition, maybe even a second story, can be. Marco?
I didn't notice until watching the mid-game recap there when Will took the home run away. There was a Philly fan with a hat.
Yep. That's a hang on.
To scoop it up. Ludwig, long run, but he'll get there near the line and in foul territory. Make the catch. Ruiz fouls out.
He was wearing that old Von Hayes uniform.
Yeah, he had the throwback.
The zip-up powder blue with the maroon. There he is.
Yep.
It's a big league hang with him there, big boy. When you see that uniform, who do you think of?
Mike Schmidt.
I think of Schmidt. I think of Von Hayes. I think of Juan Samuel.
Oswalt grounds the first one softly to Eck, and 2 down. Let's take a look at the play again. Our Doing More on Defense brought to you by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Worth did have to go down a little bit for it, as you said, and William taking it back. Telling the Philly fan, go get another cheesesteak, not in my yard. Jimmy Rollins has a couple of hits against Latos tonight. Single to left to lead off the game and single to center, starting a 2-out rally in the third.
Okay, it's now the third time around for these Phils hitters against Matt Latos. That pitch there looked like Matt started him off with an off-speed pitch, a changeup. Hey, nothing but singles given up by Matt tonight. 4 hits for the Phillies. All singles.
And all to the top 3 in the order. Rollins with 2, Polanco and Utley each with 1.
And I defy any hitter to square up on a good located Matt Latos fastball. Right? Unless you're absolutely looking for it and you dive for it to get it on the outside part of the plate. If he's on his game, he'll give up a broken bat single every now and then.
The breaky ball hit down the line and right, and it is hooking foul.
Now, what pitch was that?
Curveball.
And that's why Matty will learn something there. I think his intention was to bury it in the strike zone. No good. You speed up the bat of Jimmy Rollins.
Oh. Fastball just missing.
Good two-seamer.
Now Rollins has worked it full in the payoff pitch from Latos. Down in the dirt. And that is the first walk allowed by either side tonight.
It's kind of surprised he threw him an off-speed pitch there. It looked like a changeup. 3-2.
And he spiked.
Yeah. Let's take a look. That was the pitch that was called a ball, which I think should have been called a strike.
And had it been, it would have been strike 3 and inning over. But the inning continues with a man on for Polanco. He singled to center his last time, and he drives that foul right side. Second stint with the Phillies for Polanco. His first was 2002 through 2005. Then went to Detroit. Went to a World Series in 06 with them. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves.
Solid player. Remember, we've talked about this, you and I, many times. There are players, and then there are baseball players. Polanco falls into that category of baseball player.
Just does everything well.
He does.
The last 3 years, he's been among the hardest to strike out in the majors. In 2007 and 2008, he was the most difficult to fan in the American League. Second hardest last year, and this year back over in the National League. Right now he's the second hardest to strike out, fanning only once every about 13 plate appearances. But we did fan in the first tonight.
See how he chokes up on that bat?
Sends it to right center field. Durango allows Ludwig to make that catch in the right center alley. So Lato's not hurt by the 2-out walk to Jimmy Rollins. Farmers Insurance. To find a Farmers agent, call 1-800-FARMERS or visit farmers.com, because Reddy feels good. And on the state back in 1980, the Phillies' Steve Carlton becomes the first pitcher in the NL to reach 20 wins as the Phils beat the Dodgers 4-3. Carlton won 24 that year. And that season, he threw over 300 innings. That's the last time a pitcher has thrown 300 or more innings in the major leagues.
Wow. Well, you know what? I've got reason to believe it'll never happen again. Do you?
Yeah, unless something drastically changes, going back to a 4-man rotation, and don't see that happening anytime soon. There's Will Venable, who fly to center his first time, but took a home run away over the top of the left field fence from Jason Worth back in the fourth. Bouncy ball to the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Down by a half step. His hustle made it a closer play than it would have appeared off the bat. Let's update the Giants score, taking on the D-backs. Stephen Drew, who got hot here the last couple of nights, has tripled and scored a run. LaRoche had a home run earlier, and it's 4-0 D-backs, bottom of the fourth.
Wow. You know, speaking of Steve Carlton, on my way to the yard today, I was trying to think. Oswalt, Latos, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of stud pitchers who have been around a while against the young and upcoming. And Carlton came to mind. Obviously, he's left-handed. But, you know, obviously a Hall of Fame career. So I was thinking Steve Carlton, and then the young stud when Carlton was on his way out, and I'm not saying Oswalt's on his way out by any means, but Dwight Gooden.
You know? Dr. K. I mean, what untapped potential there was.
Basically, I was trying to think of, you know, the guy who's been around for a while, established great numbers against the young stud like a Matt Latos, and those two pitchers came to mind.
Torrealba goes around.
Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good comparison.
I was trying to think of another stud right-hander, but, you know, Tom Seaver was on his way out. Wasn't at the, you know, really the top of his game.
2-1 pitch is outside. What you mentioned has reminded me of what Bud Black said before the game today. Someone was asking Bud about who he really looked up to, who were his favorite pitchers growing up. And he said two, Sandy Koufax and Steve Carlton.
Nice. Lefty. I love to watch that guy pitch. That guy was a competitor. It was, In fact, I remember talking to Larry Boa and talking to Randy Lurch, teammates, guys that had played with the Phillies when lefty. And when you said lefty in Philly, you knew exactly what you were talking about. He said when he took the hill.
A check swing roller charged by Utley, who inhales it and throws out Torrey Alba. 2 gone.
When lefty took the hill, it was win day.
Well, early in his career with the Phillies, it was about their only win day. Remember when he came over from the Cardinals, he won some huge percentage of their games when they were a really bad team in the early 70s.
Yeah, he won like 27 games out of 54 wins, didn't he, that year for the Phillies?
That sounds about right.
Could you imagine?
Durango takes a strike from Oswalt. You know, the Phillies had that nice run in the late 70s when they lost to the NLCS 3 years in a row. Then finally won the World Series in 1980. You know, the Phillies had been around for a long time before they won their first World Series in 1980. They'd been around 98 years before they won their first World Series. Now they've won 2 thanks to 2 years ago in 2008. Wave and a miss by Durango. The Phillies' first World Series was 1915. Then their second was 1950 against the Yankees. The Whiz Kids. Before beating the Royals in 80. A strikeout of Durango. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Oswalt, who's still only thrown 62 pitches in this game. Are on sale now. Season tickets are the best way to guarantee your 2010 Padres postseason tickets and make sure you have the best seats for all the big games. Don't wait. Call that number at the bottom of your screen, 619-795-5555. Let the Padres know that your and representatives are standing by. 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Phillies in the 6th. A 1-1 game. Phillies scored in the 3rd, an RBI hit by Utley. In the bottom of that inning, Torrey Alba led off for the home run to left. Here is Utley leading off, 1 for 2 tonight. Upstairs with a fastball.
By the way, we were talking about lefty last half inning. 1972 Phillies. They finished with a 59-97 record. Carlton won 27 games that year. Straighten your hat.
That's down low.
Mike Schmidt wouldn't wear it like that. Manny Trio wouldn't wear it like that. Bake McBride wouldn't wear it like that.
Gary Maddox.
That's okay. We'll let it slide for tonight.
Two on, hit on the ground to Eck. One out in the Phillies sixth. Let's take a look at some old unis, shall we? And see about Michael Jack Schmidt. He played all 18 seasons of his Hall of Fame career in a Phillies uniform. Two-time MVP, 10 Gold Gloves, 12-time All-Star.
Some serious bat speed there. That's number 500 at Three Rivers. Teammates coming out to congratulate him. Let's see if we can pick up some of the names there. Steve Bedrosian with the high stirrups. Lance Parrish, number 13.
I had a Steve Jeltz sighting at the bottom of the screen.
Steve Jeltz.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that number 500 was off of right-hander Bill Landrum, Bucko right-hander.
Ryan Howard has struck out twice. Both times looking, takes to the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. Mike Schmidt, best third baseman ever in baseball?
You know what? All-around game. Absolutely.
There's a foul at the plate. All right, what other names did we miss here from the old Phillies teams?
Milt Thompson.
There's Jeltz, number 30.
Number 46 is there's
Von
Hayes.
There's Samuel.
Lee Elio
Samuel on the right.
Bedrock on the left. Good stuff.
2-2. Howard able to get a piece and foul off that curveball. Late toast at 80 pitches here in the 6th inning.
Fastball away. You know that 96.
Which turned into a fastball middle in.
My point on that last pitch, it wasn't away. It was down the heart of the plate, and still
it's got enough.
Howard still couldn't square it up or get to it. Matt knows exactly what he wants to do. Shaking off Torrealba.
You saw Torrealba point down, like, get it down. He did in the dirt, and Howard fans for a third time tonight. 4 Ks for late toast, 3 times to come at the expense of the All-Star first baseman.
All right, the Midnight Cowboy knew exactly what he wanted to throw there. He was shaking off Torrealba. He threw the fastball, then he buries the slider. That's a bouncer. And Howard cannot stop his swing.
Five Ks for late toast. Also got Nabanez once and Polanco once. Who got Jason Worth last time? It was Will Venable. Took a home run away from him. Leaping above the left field fence. Oh, wow. 97 mile per hour gas. Here it is.
He's reaching back when he really needs to. Nice smooth motion out in front. How late? Oh, back by the hip pocket. By the time that barrel of the bat came through the zone.
Approaching triple digits again for late toast at 98 miles per hour.
See, now here's where you throw the slider down in the dirt. Remember, like to Howard. If he goes to the breaking ball.
Fastball at 97. Back-to-back strikeouts for Latos to win the 6th. And he's now fanned 6. Midpoint of the 6th. Phillies won, Padres won. Padres have 5 hits, Phillies with 4. Into the home half of the 6th. The bad Latos leading off, takes a fastball outside from Roy Oswalt. That grounded out to the third baseman Polanco in the 3rd inning. Swung over the top of the off-speed pitch there, and it's a ball and a strike. Oswalt's next pitch will be his 65th. And that's in the air to center field. Victorino back into his left is under it. 1 down. Stay tuned after the game for the Sequan Casino post-game show here on Channel 4 San Diego. Tonight with John Weisbarth and Bob Scanlon. Sequan Casino, San Diego's Daycation getaway. Top of the order, and David Eckstein. Eck in the first, grounded out to Howard at first, and then in the 3rd he singled to center. 0-1 low from Oswalt. Nice strike, 1-1.
Breaking up the changeup, huh? Threw it to Latos. He throws it to Eck. Oh, Eck just kind of looked down the third baseline very quickly to see where Polanco was playing. He's maybe a step back of the bag at third, off the line, about 2 good strides.
Fouled away right side. Phillies scored in the 3rd on an Utley RBI single. Padres in the bottom of that inning on a Torrealba leadoff home run. 1-1 game here in the 6th, and the first game of this 3-game series. These teams split a 4-game set in Philadelphia earlier in the season. Phillies won the first 2. Padres came back, won the last 2. Phillies have played well here at Petco in recent years. They swept the only series here a year ago, taking 3. They've won 8 of their last 9 at Petco. And Eck, a guy difficult to strike out, fans for the 2nd out. 4 Ks now for Oswalt.
We mentioned the changeup from Oswalt. Well, how about the 2-seam fastball that runs towards the arm side down near the kneecaps of David Eckstein, and Eck cannot catch up to that heater.
Tejada bounces it to the shortstop. Rollins charges, fields, and out by a step and a half is Tejada.
We've got ourselves a pitcher's duel, folks.
Indeed we do. 7 in a row, set down by Oswalt. Now it goes back to Latos. Subway. Try the $2.50 Western and cheese melt with a cup of freshly brewed Seattle's best coffee. Open at 7 a.m. Subway. Eat fresh. And by Cox Digital Telephone. Ready for cheaper calls? Go to Cox.com. So happy to have you with us tonight. Mark Neely, Mark Grant, the opener of this 3-game series. Padres and Phillies. Nice crowd on hand on this Friday night. Each team has scored once as we move to the 7th. Raul Ibanez is the left fielder. It's just off the outside edge. The ball one from Latos. Matty nearing 90 pitches. He's at 87. Popped up by Ibanez, and Headley wants this on the infield grass. Coming up, the San Diego Hyundai dealers' 7th inning Stretch Your Dollars. Get more miles per gallon and the assurance of America's best warranty. Go to SanDiegoHyundaiDealers.com. Phillies center fielder Shane Victorino. Fastball at 93 is a strike. You know, Latos' fastball, I think we've seen it vary from 91 to 98 around there tonight.
That's what I've got. Yep. And you know what's great about Matt learning and maturing as a pitcher?
There's one at 91.
That first pitch fastball was at 92, right?
93, yep.
At 93, and then that one, a little bit of run on it with the two-seamer at 91.
Pulls the string.
Hammer time.
The slider action. Or curveball there to make a 1-ball, 2 strikes. What do you get?
Take
here?
a look.
Yeah.
Little slider? What do you think?
It was kind of slurvy.
Well, it had such good tilt to it.
Yeah. It made you think that perhaps it was a curveball. That 95-mile-per-hour fastball Victorino gets on top of and grounds out to Tejada. Six in a row set down by Latos since the walk to Rollins with 2 outs in the 5th. And 12 of the last 13 he's retired. It's grounded to short and fouled out to the right fielder Ludwig. 0 for 2.
There's the hammer.
That's a curveball.
Too legit to quit. Breaking out the curveball here in the 7th inning. And getting ahead with it.
Back to it, down low that time, though. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tipped into the mitt of Torrealba. Carlos Ruiz from Panama signed a 3-year deal in the offseason with Philadelphia. So he signed through 2012. Came all the way up the Phillies organization. He's an original Phil. And as we said earlier, a guy really coming into his own. Had some big hits in the postseason for them last year. Fastball away. He had a 3-run home run off Clayton Kershaw in Game 1 of last year's National League Championship Series at Dodger Stadium. And the game-winning walk-off hit in Game 3 of the World Series in 08 against the Rays. That curve down low, and it's a full count. Second walk allowed by Latos. They've both been 2-out walks. The other was to Rollins in the 5th, now here to Ruiz in the 7th. And Latos at 99 pitches.
When you look at the tosses that Matt has thrown this year, 108 has been the most.
And that was 2 starts ago.
Yep.
At San Francisco. There's Darren Balsley on the horn. Oswalt batting for himself. Now, interesting. You remember when Oswalt and Latos faced off 6 weeks ago here when Oswalt was with Houston? Brad Mills, granted it was the 8th inning, pinch hit for Oswalt. And the Padres scored 3 off the Astro bullpen to win 3-0.
Well, Oswalt has only thrown, what, 80 pitches at the most?
Not even that, I don't believe. He's at 71.
71.
So he's got some fuel in the tank left.
Charlie Manuel's banking that, hey, it's close game 1-1. They've got their bullpen going. The Padres do. I'm going to send my guy up there. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Gregerson and Thatcher up for the Padres. And the Phillies bullpen has been better recently, but they have had some issues this year. He's quiet in the Philly bullpen. Fastball strike. So Charlie Manuel thinking, okay, I keep Oswalt on the mound, and even if he's retired here, I got the top of the order up in the next inning.
Yep.
No brainer there.
Absolutely. No question. Could you hear the wrath of Philly fans if they take Roy Oswalt out of the game after 71 pitches?
Charlie Manuel's won 3 consecutive division titles. Second Philly manager to do that. Danny Ozark won 3 in a row in the late 70s. Down the right field side and will fade foul out of play. One-two from Latos. Bouncy ball up the middle and a base hit for Oswalt.
Hung up a breaking ball. An 0-2 breaking ball. Wanted to bury it down and away, just left it on the outer third, about knee high, and Roy just throws that bat out there, plays a little pep up the center of the diamond, speeds up the pitcher's bat.
So Oswalt with a base hit, his 7th of the season. It's 2 on, 2 outs, top of the order now for the Phils. Jimmy Rollins.
Time to bear down here. Got to make good quality pitches here.
Upstairs, ball 1. Latos
getting a couple of pitches up and not being as sharp early in the count.
And Manny probably facing his last hitter of the night here, you think?
Absolutely. I think
one way or another?
Absolutely.
Torrealba out for a word. Rollins singled his first 2 times up, then walked in the 5th. So he has been on base all 3 times that he has come up tonight. It looked like another pitch that Torrealba wanted down that was elevated.
It was up. Let's watch where Torrealba's set up. He wants it down in the dirt, and that misses up and out, outer third.
To the right side. Adrian will take it himself, and Latos.
Nice.
7 innings tonight of 1-run baseball.
Good night in the big leagues, young man.
Time to stretch at Petco. $4,233 paid tonight at Petco Park. Enjoying the pitcher's duel that they are witnessing.
It's like 2 prize fighters, huh? Duking it out of the ring. Oswalt is having an outstanding night as far as pitch ratio. Listen to this. 71 total pitches. He's only thrown 15 for balls.
56 strikes. Adrian leading off. Ball 1 inside. Oswalt, though, throwing nearly 80% strikes tonight. Adrian's popped to short and struck out. Strike on an off-speed pitch. Got him. Change up there, makes it 1-1. On him and fouled back.
See the idea there, Oswalt? Fastball in for a ball, change up for a strike. Locate the fastball in again, trying to tie him up, and Adrian cannot get that Schlaley through the zone to square it up.
Right in on the fists again at 94 miles per hour. Ludwig to follow, and then Chase Headley in the Padres 7th. One-two from Oswalt.
Curveball inside. He works quickly, doesn't he?
quick pace. New baseball for Oswalt. Oswalt's only had one 3-ball count tonight. He's at 2-2 on Adrian.
Hey, remember the last time up, Adrian chased a high fastball out of the zone to strike out. That was in the 4th. Just like that pitch, maybe over a little higher.
Up and away, 3-2. Full count on Adrian, leading off the 7th. A 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again. Back with the fastball there.
Ruiz wants it. Oh, yeah. He wanted that down and away. That was in the nitro zone for Adrian.
Adrian, high drive, right center. Worth going back to the warning track, reaching, and bangs up against the Cox sign with the ball in his mitt. Jason Worth running that down to right center. Well, Worth got robbed of a home run earlier tonight by Venable. That one was not going to leave the yard, but easily could have been extra bases for Adrian.
Great play by Worth. Adrian goes down and gets it. Thought had a chance to get over the head, but no. Tracks it down out in Cox Alley, taking away extra bases. It's a long run, and there might be some people out there thinking, you know what, you hit a ball 400 feet like that in the right center field, you should be rewarded with a home run. Not the case here or in San Francisco. In San Francisco, right center field, it's like 675, I think.
Yeah, it's steep.
Yeah.
Worth making the defensive play. 1 out. Bases empty for Ryan Ludwig.
Did you think that ball was going to be?
I thought it was going to get over his head, yes.
Did you? I did too. So easy, even a caveman can do it. Yes.
Oh, and low to Ludwig. Worth has trimmed that beard up as the season has gone on. Strike from Oswalt.
I've always liked Jason Worth. I just, came up with he was with the Orioles, right? Then the Blue Jays, and then the Dodgers. And
a former first-round pick of the Orioles. They traded to Toronto, made his big league debut with the Jays.
He had the full-on beard earlier in the year, right?
This year, yeah. He had the full Jim Morrison thing going, whatever you want to call it. Ludwig is singled twice tonight. And off the end of the bat, rolls it foul.
Ludwig has had some good ABs now.
He's battled.
Yes, he has battled.
Oh, breaky ball that was up, pulled foul.
Topped a high curveball. Got a hanger. Topped it.
And a little out in front.
I think when Roy Oswalt is on his game and you get a mistake, it's almost like it's a surprise. So you really can't react.
Bounce to third, speared by Polanco, who sidearms to first in time. 2 down in the inning, and that's 9 in a row set down by Oswalt. Oswalt down 85 pitches. Strike one on the curveball to Chase. Chase's base hit was a single in the second. Padres have a run on 5 hits. The Phillies likewise a run on 5 hits. Phillies, though, have stranded 6 tonight. Padres have left only 1 on base. That was Zach stranded at first back in the 3rd.
Now, see, if we were back in 1972 and Steve Carlton was pitching, he'd go into the 12th.
Or later.
Yeah.
With a pitch count that nobody was actually counting back then, but would have been about 180.
They just leave him in the clubhouse.
Yeah. Different era. Hit the knees, 2-2. I think Steve Carlton, as Oswald's approaching 90 pitches. Got to think sliding.
Oh, nasty sliding.
Base is empty, 2 outs to the Padres 7. Oswald shakes off a sign. Waits for Chase to get back in, which he does. A 2-2. Fly ball to left field. Ibanez angling in the corner and on the run makes the catch. Shy of the track. That ball almost dropped. But Oswald sets him down in order and is retired 10 in a row. Treat yourself to San Diego's favorite cuisines at the 2010 Cox Taste of Downtown on September 1st from 5 to 9 p.m. Sponsored by Dine and Day. And you can get your tickets at downtownsandiego.org. Padres going to the bullpen as we begin the 8th. And it's Mike Adams on the hill.
All right, now it's into the hand of the bullpen for San Diego. Mike Adams, great numbers out of the pen. The intensity level down in that bullpen with every pitch when there's a game going on like this. You've got to be on your game and getting ready to go into that ball game. For Mike Adams, 2-3-4 here in the 8th.
So 7 innings for Latos, 1 run, 5 hits, walked 2 and struck out 6. Heart of the order for the Phillies in the 8th. 2, 3, and 4. Polanco, Utley, and Howard. Polanco has singled in 3 at-bats. Starts down low for ball 1. Polanco's base hit was a 3rd inning single to center. Strike on the outer half, 1-1. With the 7 innings tonight, Latos now at 149 2/3 innings pitched on the season. You remember going into the season, they said, 150 to 180.
Yep, you're right.
So he's right at the 150 mark now. So obviously he will exceed that. It's still to be seen how Bud Black and Darren Balsley and the Padres will work Latos throughout the month of September and hopefully into October. Deep into October.
Well, according.
Got him looking. 96 at the knees. Adams greets Polanco with a K.
Polanco saw Matt Latos 3 times with the good fastball. Mike Adams out of the pen, and the nice 2-seamer down and away. Pitcher's pitch with that big out here in the 8th.
The Phillies' second baseman Chase Utley has driven in the Phillies' run. That was back in the 3rd when he singled home Rollins, and then Torrealba homered in the bottom of the inning, and that's been all the scoring in this one. It's just off the outside corner for ball 1.
Well, according to my math, talking about Matt Latos, and this is just by going 5-man rotation and days, whatever, I've got 7 more starts. And it's ironic, the last start would be on the last day of the season in San Francisco.
If he went every 5th day,
if
now
he went
you're
every
saying?
5th day. And
which, according to Bud, would probably be unlikely at this point, but a lot of it is dictated by what's going on in the pennant race, etc. Well, it'd be nice to make that last series in San Francisco just a laugher.
I'd like to see maybe one of the September call-ups get a start in that series.
Have Corey Lupke.
Yeah.
It looks like he is going to get some starts in September. Maybe Chris Young.
Hey, that'd be nice.
Hopefully he's making some postseason starts in the not-too-distant future. It's the only guy that's won a postseason game around here in a very long time. Well, I'll tell you what, for a pitcher's duel tonight, plate umpire James Hoy has had a pretty tight zone.
I think he's called a good game.
I'm not saying he hasn't called a good game,
agree with you.
But it's not like it's been a big zone.
Yeah, I think that last pitch, I thought it was off the plate a little bit. I thought it was a good call. The crowd didn't like it. I think he's done a fine job.
Adams behind in the count. He gets the strike on the edge that time, and it's 3-2. And James Hoy's been consistent tonight with that zone. Adams with a 3-2 to chase Utley. And he walked him. Third walk given by Padres pitching tonight. And Chris Young threw a simulated game yesterday, simulating 3 innings against live hitters. This is what it looked like yesterday. And Bud said that he liked the last 30 pitches better than the first 25 or so, and he threw around 55 pitches.
No screen, live hitter. Remember talking to Chris in Milwaukee, he was throwing all of his pitches. feeling good with the location of the fastball, which is always key.
Howard fouls it left side.
And another thing that tells a lot is just a guy's body language. In Milwaukee, after that simulated game, he was in the clubhouse. He was feeling good about himself. He seemed to be positive, which was a good sign.
Howard fanned all 3 times against Latos, twice looking. And Adams checking on Utley. .23 homers, 82 knocked in for Ryan Howard, both team highs.
Remember, Mike Adams, when he was in the bullpen watching Matt Latos throw, he's down there with Darryl Achterfelds, and they're writing down what each hitter swings at. If they get a hit, what the pitch was. He knows that Howard swung at that pitch in the dirt, that slider, when he had 2 strikes on it. Oh, where'd that miss? Well, we're waiting.
Let's see what another peak looks like.
That's a good pitch. That's a strike.
Right at the knees. Bottom of the knees, which is still a strike. Bottom of the knees. Infield shifting here for Howard. We have 3 on the right side, with Headley basically playing a shallow shortstop. Here's a look at the defense. A 1-1 pitch. There's a strike call in the outside corner with a slider.
Mike Adams has got a good one. That backdoor slider, hitter will give up on it. Now does he throw the slider down and in like Matt Latos did?
Line to left field. We're down in front of Venable. Padres have to scamper to make sure third base is covered since they had that shift on. So Utley down to second, and it's 2 on, 1 out. Well, last year I remember Rick Renteria saying with 2 strikes, Howard likes to go the other way.
And that's a pitch that's down the middle, maybe outer third a little bit, but it's almost like he has the intention of taking it that way. Good eye at the plate. You're right. I remember talking to him about that.
Ryan Howard, who had a pretty big dust-up with an umpire earlier in the week, an umpire that was called up for the minor leagues that was filling in. Howard eventually got a run, and it was quite emotional afterwards. Jason Worth 0 for 3 tonight, robbed in the 4th by Venable reaching over the fence to take one back. Phillies threatening in the 8th with 2 on, 1 out in a 1-1 game. Fastball inside. Worth came in tonight with a 300 average, right at the 300 mark, 9th in the National League. With the 0 for 3 tonight so far, now at 298.
It's a ball. He's off the plate. Trying to pepper that outside corner, and yeah, that's off.
Fastball at 93 is a strike.
We've got tracks on that one, and yep, 93 right on the corner. I want to get the signs straight. David Eckstein in on the conversation.
Padres bullpen has Frieri up. Ernie on the left, Thatcher on the right.
Well, if it's the twin killing you're hoping for, Jason Worth has grounded into 8 double plays this year. The leader on the Phils is Wilson Valdez with 16.
Worth has also struck out 124 times this year, among the league leaders. He also leads the National League with 42 doubles. 2 on, 1 out to 2-1. That's a strike that popped out of the mid of Torrealba.
He just didn't catch that cleanly. That's not a cross-up. That's just, I think that just goes to show you the type of movement on that ball from Mike Adams. You can see Yorby kind of testing that left hand a little bit. I'm sure that would make the thumb bark a little bit on that two-seamer.
Adams steps off. Full count. Adams struck out Polanco looking to begin the inning, but walked Utley. Howard a base hit, and now 3-2 on Jason Worth. Big pitch coming here. Just off the outside corner, and the bases are loaded. And now a decision. You've got a lefty.
I think
Banya's coming up.
Got to bring in Thatch, don't you?
Yes. And that's going to be the case. Adams got the leadoff man, but a couple of walks with a single sandwiched in between. And Thatch is going to inherit bases loaded, it appears. Yep, there's the move. This pitching change brought to you by the Mark Condos. Luxurious downtown San Diego condos from the 300s. Go to the marksandiego.com. And here comes Thatch. Mission Federal Credit Union with record-breaking member growth. Make your move and open an account today. And in comes left-hander Joe Thatcher.
Well, last time out for Joe was yesterday against the Arizona Diamondbacks at Thursday day game. An inning, 2 strikeouts, He allowed 1 hit, but great numbers from Joe. Lefties only hitting 143. Righties 156. This is crunch time right here.
Oh, Thatcher inherits bases loaded, 1 out in a 1-1 game of the 8th, and left-handed hitting Raul Ibanez. His very good career numbers, bases loaded. 237 his average against left-handed pitching this year. 266 his overall average.
Ibanez has grounded into 11 double plays this year.
Inside for ball 1. Padre infield is shortened up. Ball 2 is down and away to Ibanez. Look at the infield, middle infielders. Headley in looking for 2 or can come home.
Yeah, Headley way off the line at third base. If you're a base runner third, you want to get off as far as Headley is, or maybe 1 step shorter so you can get back to the bag.
Strike call.
I think this is a good low strike. You betcha.
Two-one pitch. Ibanez breaks his bat and drops it into right field. Utley scores. Howard will be stopped. It's 2-1 Phillies as Ibanez drives in his 64th run of the season. A broken bat, base hit. And the Phils have the lead.
Looked like a breaking ball from Thatcher. Yes, it was, and it was on the inner half of the plate. He wanted it down and away, and Ibanez will gladly sacrifice that bat for an RBI single.
We have a switch hitter, Victorino, coming up, who's average much better right-handed than left, so Thatcher will depart. This pitching change is brought to you by San Diego Harley-Davidson. They are always country first. In comes Luke Gregerson. Diego Ford dealers, and the 4th Padre pitcher now in this game is Luke Gregerson.
Latos was hitting his spots. Oswald is still hitting his spots. Joe Thatcher threw a breaking ball to Raul Ibanez, did not hit his spot. Drove in a run. Now Luke Gregerson trying to keep it at 2 runs and inherits bases loaded just like Joe Thatcher. Luke is known for the slider. A ground ball would be nice here from the right-hander.
Victorino 0 for 3 tonight. With bat left-handed. Came in 223 left-handed, 326 right-handed. 252 overall on the season. 2-1 Phillies. Philadelphia has the bases loaded. One out here in the top of the 8th.
It's been a while. It's been 5 days since Luke has towed that slab. That was back in Milwaukee. Back on Sunday.
He should be well rested. To the right side, Adrian going to come home for the force.
Nice.
Get Howard, 2 outs.
See how calm and cool Adrian was on that? The ball
No sense of panic at all.
Ball hits slowly. There's no way you're going to go, So you get the lead runner. It's a forced play. Adrian realizes, I just have to throw a strike to my catcher.
And I think a part of that factor has to be him knowing, okay, the runner at third is Howard.
Right.
Not the fastest guy.
Just get it there.
So they're loaded with 2 outs for the 8th spot in the Phillies order, and catcher Carlos Ruiz. Walked in his last plate appearance in the 7th. Slider, strike 1. Polanco began the inning with a strikeout, but Utley walked, Howard a hit, and Worth walk loaded him up. Ibanez, the broken bat base hit, drove in the go-ahead run. Fielder's choice off the bat of Victorino. Now Ruiz on 0-1. Can't get him to dive after that one outside. Kristen Orfia, who, when we went off the air yesterday, we were very concerned with what may be a potential long-term injury, but fortunately just a cramp. Slider, 1-2.
That's the Luke Gregerson slider we know and love. Not overpowering. It's firm, but the tilt right on the outer third for a strike. Backed up on him.
Alba.
See that?
Yes.
He wanted that one down and away on the corner, but he kind of left it up, or not up, but kind of in a little bit. And watch this ball kind of back up and go the other way. That's your good old backup slider.
Two count. Pitcher spot due up next for the Phillies. Gregerson trying to close out this top of the 8th. Nice. He runs it to a full count, and a nice block by Alba.
What do you throw him here, slider?
Got to go with your best, don't you?
I agree. Slider like you threw him 2 pitches ago. That one outer third, knee high.
Oswalt, the pitcher, is on deck. They do have Manson up in the bullpen, so if the inning would continue, it looks like they would bat for Oswalt. Bases loaded, 2 outs, a full count. Runners will be off with this 3-2 pitch. Slider got him. Ruiz out looking. And Gregerson indeed does slam the door here in the 8th and keeps the Phillies to just the 1 run. Pitcher spot due up 4th in the bottom half. Broadcast. Visit Padres.com today on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, or BlackBerry for more details. Gregerson retiring the 2 hitters he faced, striking out Ruiz to win the top of the 8th. Now to the bottom half. 6, 7, and 8 due up against Oswalt.
Long half inning for Oswalt, huh?
He had a while to sit around.
Yeah.
Venable takes the strike, and it's only 2. Change-up. Bounced up the first base side, foul. Yeah, Oswalt has allowed 5 hits, but 4 singles and the home run by Torrealba. The Padres have not had a base runner reach second off Oswalt, with the exception of Torrealba's home run.
Yeah. For those 2 caught stealings in the 2nd inning. Oh, no.
Has that been a strike most of the night?
I don't think so.
Now the strikeout is the 5th for Oswalt.
Well, you be the judge. You know, he hasn't been calling that pitch off the plate.
Torrealba with the home run in the 3rd. And the 5th grounded out to second. It's a pass to begin with a fastball, and it's 0-2. Oswalt at 97 pitches.
And still movement and still location. Right?
He's thrown 9 consecutive strikes going back to the last inning. Now that changes. Hasn't walked anybody. In fact, the Phillies staff, lowest walks in the National League, 318. High fastball strikes out Torrealba. Torre asking, was that pitch up? It looked like it was.
Yes, it was. It was definitely a ball, but once again, tough to lay off when the guy's throwing in the mid-90s and he's got movement. And I've said this before, out of the hand, it looks like a strike. At the plate, not a strike.
Durango a strikeout victim twice tonight. Looked like he wanted to slap at one and takes outside ball one. Right at 100 pitches for Oswalt. He's 100 first. Like most of the preceding 100, a strike. He's still throwing over 75% strikes.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Durango grounds it to Rollins. His speed made it close, but he's out by a step. 13 in a row retired by Oswalt, and the Phillies will take a one-run lead to the ninth. Phillies. And you could join us on this Friday night for the opener of the three-game series between the Phillies and Padres. Mark Healy along with Mark Grant and our terrific Channel 4 crew. Bringing the sights and sounds for Petco Park tonight. What has been a great pitcher's duel. Padres the first to go to their pen. Gregerson got the last two outs of the eighth to keep it a 2-1 game, and he'll begin the ninth.
Hey, the story of this game up to this point, remember we're talking about pitchers' duels, right? One thing making the difference. Well, the two walks in the eighth inning.
Pitcher due up, Oswalt, and they'll bat for him with Dominic Brown. Fouls it away left side. Now one of their younger players. In fact, he has a famous uncle, Dominic Brown does. Can you name him? Well, one pitch. Popped up in foul territory. Caught by Headley.
An athlete?
Yes.
Football or baseball? Or
baseball.
Baseball.
Dominic Brown's uncle is Mudcat Grant.
Really?
Yes.
I'm a fan of this kid's. Love Jim Mudcat Grant. See him in L.A. when I go up there. He makes his way out to Dodger Stadium, and I'm going to have to give Jim a call.
His nephew Dominic.
Very cool. Have you ever met Mudcat?
I have not. I know you have, as you mentioned.
Oh, yeah. Met him my first year in the big leagues, 1984, and then kept in touch. He had a heck of a career now.
14-year big league career.
Yes, he did.
Rollins takes it down low. He reached base his first 3 times up, 2 singles and a walk. He scored the Phillies' first run in the 3rd. Fly ball to left. Venable in. 2 away. Now we look at the Padre ninth. We're going to be trailing by at least a run. It's the pitcher spot, Eck and Tejada. Got a full bench right now. You got Stairs from the left side, Denorfia, the Hairston brothers, Hundley, the other catcher, from the right. Jerry is unlikely since he's dealing with an elbow issue right now.
And the Phils have their closer, Brad Lidge, warming up down there in the pen, getting ready. If it stays like this, 2-1 in the bottom of the 9th, a blue and a blast would be some kind of nice. Lidge has been throwing well, though, lately.
Foul towards third. Well, Lidge had the consecutive save streak leading into last season. 47 in a row, and the team that stopped it was the Padres. April 18th, early in the year in Philadelphia. That was Lidge's first blown save, and in some ways was indicative of the regular season he would have. He seemed to pull it together better in the playoffs. But he was not the same Lidge from the 2008 season.
So you should get spoiled, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can't get any better than what Lidge did in 08, not blowing a save. 2-1 pitch. Low to Polanco. So Gregerson, who's working with some extra rest here, it's been 5 days. Trying to go an inning and 2/3 tonight. Keep this a 1-run game to the bottom of the 9th. Three and 2. The slider there. If you throw him a 3-1 slider,
throw it again.
I was going to say he's probably going to throw a 3-2 slider. Hopefully it has the same tilt as that last one.
Hey, there's another guy in the house that used to throw 99% sliders. A guy by the name of Larry Anderson, former Philly and a former Friar.
Sharp ground ball. Eck throws him out. Got a fastball, but Polanco grounds out. Gregerson does his job tonight. 9-1-2 coming up. Last chance for the Padres. Phillies take a 2-1 lead to the bottom of the 9th. Our Sonic hit of the game brought to you by Sonic. Sonic in San Diego, a perfect fit. And Raul Ibanez broke his bat on this Thatcher delivery, but got enough to get it into right field, and that brought in Chase Utley with the go-ahead run. That has made it 2-1 Phillies, and that's our score into the bottom of the ninth. And on comes the Phillies closer, Brad Lidge.
Well, Brad Lidge, 17 saves on the year. He has blown 4. He's allowed 11 earned runs in 15 innings over his last 17 save opportunities. But he does have 13 saves over that span. Slider, fastball, basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Mid to low 90s on that fastball.
Well, former Philly Matt Stairs will pinch hit for the pitcher Gregerson and lead off the bottom of the ninth. Fastball, strike one. Fastball upstairs, a ball and a strike. Stairs pinch hitting, then Eckstein and Tejada do in the San Diego ninth. Each team scored a run in the third. Torrealba homered for the Padres. Fills the go-ahead run in the eighth. A breaking ball fouled back. Patty Jam pulls it foul. Ruiz out to the hill.
Some pretty healthy swings from Matt.
Ball came in on him. One, two. Base hit right field. Stairs with a pinch hit single. Well, the tying run is on to begin the ninth. Stairs does his job. He'll be lifted for a pinch runner.
Matty never gets cheated. It's a fastball. It's about maybe lower thigh high. Finds the hole on the right side, and that's a good start here in the ninth.
Well, Jerry Hairston, who has the elbow issue, still available to pinch run, and a little playful juke and jive there with umpire Laz Diaz.
Well, at home, bunt him over.
Old adage, play for the tie at home. Eck takes a slider for a strike.
Now Eckstein is such a valuable asset to the team with that back control. You can try to do many things. I mean, you can put the runner in motion. You can try to hit and run. I'm banking on getting the sacrifice down to get Jerry over the scoring position.
Lays it down. Lidge can't come up with it. Now does, but still has time to get it to Utley. Eck with the sacrifice bunt. His 6th of the year, and the tying runs at second.
He is so good with that bat, huh? He can work that shillelagh with the best of them. Watch, this is a breaking ball up in front of the box. Deadens that ball perfectly. Lidge can't find the handle, doesn't panic. Padres need a rally shillelagh right here. A big hit to get that runner in scoring position home.
Well, the Padres get a runner in scoring position for the first time in this game. Their only run coming on the Torrealba solo home run. Miguel Tejada has grounded out 3 times tonight. Once to second, once to short, and once to third. Fastball up high.
Good day's work for Matt Stairs. Pitch single.
Fastball up, 2-0.
Well, earlier in the year, Brad Lidge was really scuffling with his control. But recently, he's been in and around the strike zone. No walks or earned runs in his last 10 appearances.
A low strike called 2-1. I've mentioned 17 saves, 4 blown saves this year. Arizona's batting at the top of the ninth, leading the Giants 4-0. Dodgers won at Colorado tonight 6-2. Padres down a run in the ninth with the tying run at second, 1 out. 2-1 to Miggy. Out of play right side. Leto started and went 7. Allowed 1 run, 5 hits. Oswalt went 8 for the Phillies. Allowed 1 run, 5 hits. Each struck out 6. Lidge trying to close it out for the Phils. His 2-2. Ground ball to third. Backing up. Polanco looks the runner back and throws across. 2 outs. Interesting decision time now. Adrian coming up. A base open, but Adrian representing the winning run, and the Phil's infield will talk this over.
Well, what does the book say? You don't put the tying or the go-ahead run on base, right?
I think. Do you make an exception here? Maybe pitch around him. Don't.
Yeah, but see, I think they're going to put him on. I say 4 wide ones.
Don't even mess around. That's what they're going to do. They're going to put him on. I was going to say the other alternative is to pitch to him, but not pitch to him. We'll see if he'll get himself out.
You risk
making a bad pitch.
Exactly.
So Charlie Manuel decides not worth the gamble. Put him on the potential winning run and bring up the right-handed hitting Ludwig.
Hey, you're not gambling, but you're gambling. Think about it.
In some ways you are, yes.
I mean, that's the winning run, and Ryan Ludwig is on deck.
But I don't think you can argue with the decision Charlie Manuel has just made there.
I agree.
Because all the Padre fans here were hoping they would pitch to Adrian Gonzalez. That's the first Phillies walk of the night, and it comes the intentional variety. Rally caps on, 2 on, 2 outs.
I've got my rally shillelagh working.
Padres down to their final out. Ludwig 2 for 3 tonight with a pair of singles off of Oswalt. Fouled back. Slider for strike 1. Career against Lidge, not good.
So he's due.
And I'm sure that's information Charlie Manuel used into the decision-making process here.
They've got all that information down there in that dugout.
Ludwig down the right field side, fading foul, and Howard will see it sail into the seats, but the Padres are down to their final strike. Phillies trying to win here for the 9th time in their last 10 games at Petco. And he hit him to load the bases. And a switch hitter Headley coming up.
How's that for a break? Had him 0-2. That looked like it got him in a very vulnerable area, too. Let's see. Right on the left wrist, it looked like. Outside part of the right or left wrist. Yep.
Todd Hutchison, the athletic trainer, and manager Bud Black out. So a leadoff pitch hit single by Stairs, a sac by Eck, Tejada grounded out, an intentional walk to Adrian, and now Ludwig trying to get the feeling back after being hit by a pitch.
That's scary when it's down there near the wrist, fingers. Hey, how about bouncing a breaking ball?
Anything to get it done. Headley, slider low, ball one.
How about a walk?
Just what I was thinking there.
How about
Chase has singled in 3 at-bats. 2-1 Phillies, bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded. Lidge with the 1-0. Borderline, but outside, 2-0. Take a strike? Or are you up there hacking?
I'd be taken.
Hacking a slider that he tops foul at the plate.
I'm really surprised he swung at that, especially a breaking ball, 2-0 slider. He wanted it on the outside part of the plate. It leaped to the inside part, and he just got a piece of it.
Strike is the decision. Headley unhappy. It's 2-2. And the Padre dugout really giving it to James Hoy. What a big decision this is.
Backdoor breaking ball.
Track says on the edge. Padres again down to the last strike, and he just balked! He just balked to tie the game! Lidge balks home the tying run! Do you believe that? He started, then stopped.
That's why I've always had a problem with guys going from the windup with the bases loaded.
Headley right side. Howard fumbles it, picks it up, flip in time. We're going to extra innings. Well, we'll show you the balk when we come back because we're going to extra innings at Petco. It's 2-2. Lidge. You see Headley saying it. The plate umpire, James Hoyt. Second base umpire, Wally Bell. The dugout said balk. That one pretty easy to pick out.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I said it last inning. This is just a personal thing. I've never liked a pitcher going from the windup, even with a runner on third. From the stretch, you can always start, stop, and then step off. From the windup, once you start that back, if you're a right-handed pitcher, you start that left foot back, you can't stop. You have to continue. Heath Bell. Whew. What an emotional game, huh? Especially that last inning.
This is fun baseball.
So the save is out the window. Heath Bell here to pitch in the top of the 10th. Hold them scoreless here, and the Heath Bell could be the pitcher of record and walk away with a victory tonight.
We're trying to get through the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Utley, Howard, and Worth. Chase Utley leading off, has singled in a run, walked and scored the other run. Ball one down and in from Heath.
How about Roy Oswalt? 17th time this year he's allowed 2 runs or less. And in the month of August, 3-0 with a 1.53 ERA. He was on his game tonight. Matt Latos was on his game tonight. And we've got ourselves a brand new ball game.
Curveball strike. Well, Lidge had the Padres down to their final strike twice. He was 0-2 on Ludwig when he hit him, and it was 2-2 when he balked with Headley at the plate to bring in the tying run. Fastball outside, 2 balls and a strike. Gregerson goes an inning and 2/3 scoreless and hitless relief. Kept it a 2-1 game. And now to Heath here in the 10th. Phillies and Padres, the first game of this 3-game series. Luke did his job. Matchup between the NL West division leaders and the team that's won the National League the last 2 years and won a World Series 2 years ago. Headley under it in foul territory and 1 out in the 10th. Base is empty for Ryan Howard.
And then, talking about that balk again, it all boils down to personal preference. Brad Lidge obviously feels comfortable going from the windup because he feels he has his best stuff with the runners on base. Or with, bases loaded or runner on third with 2 outs, whatever the case may be.
Right. Howard singled in his last at bat. He fanned his first 3. He takes a 96-mile-per-hour fastball for strike 1.
I can only imagine what's going through the mind of Brett right there. Oh my gosh, what did I just do?
It's a lonely feeling right there.
The worst.
Bounced up there, and that got Torrealba, who's taken more than his share of punishment over the last 4 or 5 days.
This is a breaking ball in the dirt.
Up to the side.
Yeah.
Torrealba's telling the plate umpire James Hoyt, hey, I took a few off the coconut recently. I can handle that.
Yeah.
Fastball upstairs. Padre defense shifting again for Howard. 3 defenders on the right side. And Headley playing basically the shortstop position.
Well, Heath should be feeling fresh and froggy. Last time he was out there was back on the 19th against the Cubs. He's got the velocity too. 96 last pitch, 95 this pitch.
Which brings up a point here, Bud. If he can have a low pitch count,
go 2 innings.
That's what I'm getting at here, because the Padres have already used a lot of bullets out of that pin tonight. Adams, Gregerson, Thatcher, now Heath. You got Frieri left down there, Mujica, Stauffer, but who went 4+ innings last night or yesterday, 4 2/3. Upstairs at a full count. Heath at 9 pitches. so far through this 10th inning. And 6 have actually been out of the strike zone. Full count to Ryan Howard with 1 out in the 10th. And his fastball is outside and high, and Heath trying to find the command of that fastball here. One on, 1 out for the right fielder, Jason Worth.
Is that right? It's been 8 days since Heath has been out there. 19th against the Cubs. Got his 37th save. Does that sound right to you?
It seems like too long ago, but it's what the numbers in the notes say.
Yeah.
Which on the heels of that, it seemed like Heath was about on the hill every night. Including one stint, 4 in a row. 0-1. Having trouble harnessing that fastball so far. He's
maybe a little, the adrenaline's got to be pumping as well. Maybe flying open just a little bit. Maybe a little bit, you know, some guys can be a little bit too strong. Having that extra rest.
Worth tonight 0 for 3 with a walk. Robbed of a home run in the 4th by Venable. How huge a play is that right there? Got that fastball over and fouled back. Two in the 10th. Ibanez, who knocked in the go-ahead run in the 8th for the Phillies, is on deck. That's foul. Well, the Phillies are trying to stamp a 4-game losing streak. The Giants batting at the bottom of the ninth, trailing Arizona 6-0. Phil's a half game behind the Giants in the wild card race when play began. The 1-2. Breaking ball, strikes out. Jason Worth, 2 outs.
Well, sometimes you hang the breaking ball just enough. Sometimes it's hung so far up in the strike zone that the hitters can't. Look at that. That's up above the belt buckle, and Jason Worth cannot connect to it. Boy, that was a big uppercut swing.
Raul Ibanez with a broken bat base hit single in the 8th. Made it a 2-1 game. Heath maybe starting to get better feel and command of that fastball. Gets it over at 95.
Working downhill, keeping that front shoulder tight. Don't fly open and stay on top of that ball. Nice.
Framed by Torrealba, 0-2.
Downward plane working that outer half of the plate. Heath Bell with a short stride. He gets up on top, almost like a Matt Latos with that arm angle. Watch him get on top of this one and work down.
That one reaches the top tank. Fouled off by Ibanez. On the third base sack. Phillies have Ryan Madsen standing on the bullpen mound. Looks like he's heated and ready. Let's see if they use Madsen or stay with Lidge in the bottom of the 10th. Padres have Venable, Torrealba, and Durango due. The 6, 7, and 8 part of the order. Heath trying to keep it 2-2 and send us to the bottom of the 10th. And his curve in the dirt.
I'll tell you what. Jorge Torrealba. It takes a special breed to put on that gear and get behind home plate and be a good catcher. He has blocked balls tonight. He has taken balls off the thigh. This past week off the mask. And still you have to know your pitching staff, what they're throwing, what's going well for your pitcher, and then go up there with the bat in your hand and try to have some action.
Fastball up and away. 2-2. Let's update. The Giants have been shut out by the D-backs. This is Arizona's third shutout of the season. So at the moment, Padres back up by 6.5, equaling their largest lead. Curveball grounded to Eck. A 1-out walk to Howard. He is stranded. 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up in the bottom of the 10th for the Padres. Bottom of the 10th, Phillies 2, Padres 2. And the third pitcher of this game for Philadelphia is Ryan Madson.
Okay, you want to know what Ryan Madson throws?
Yes, please.
Fastball, cutter, change, and a curve. Hard throwing right-hander out of that Phillies bullpen. Fastball about mid-90s, you get up to about 96. And very few walks. Fewer hits than innings pitched. So it tells me that you're going to get probably something to hit.
Will Venable leading off. Pulls it foul. Will 0 for 3 tonight. He's flied out, grounded out, and struck out. Then has the defensive play of the game, taking a home run away from Jason Worth in the 4th. Outside corner, strike 2. Spoiling and fouling that one off. Venable, Torrealba, and Durango due up. The pitcher spot due 4th. The Padres have Denorfia, Scott Hairston, and the other catcher Hundley available on the bench. Got Will to chase on a changeup.
What a great pitch that changeup is. Brad Lidge. I take that back. Excuse me. Roy Oswalt was throwing a nice change tonight. Matt Latos mixed in a couple changes, didn't he?
Not many.
Not many. I think I maybe saw one or two. And then a nice one by Madsen.
Torrealba homered in the third. It was the only run allowed by Oswalt in his 8 innings pitched. This was after the Phillies had scored in the top of the third to take the lead, and Torrealba quickly responded, his 4th. Like a cutter that missed outside. Ball and a strike. Ryan Madsen, a SoCal native, born in Long Beach. One out, nobody on to the Padres' 10th. Down and in. By the way, Heath Bell threw 21 pitches in the top of the inning. So we'll see if at the time off preceding this, if he would come back. We do have Frieri up in the bullpen. Full count.
Heath doing a good job of cheerleading there, giving a couple knuckles on the bench as Frieri heats up.
(3-2) to Torrealba.
Oh no!
Torre upset, called out on strikes on the fastball.
Don't get thrown out.
Buddy running out just as Torrealba turned back. But Torrealba and James Hoy having some words there.
And you know, in a game like this, emotions are going to run high. We've got ourselves a great game going. Falls off the plate. And you know, once again, he hasn't been calling that all night.
Dorrego slaps at it and fouls it on the third base side. Torre getting the gear back on, but obviously frustrated at that strike 3 call. Right side, Howard fields. And he'll barely win the race to the bag. We'll see if Heath Bell comes back for the 11th after Phillies have stranded 10 tonight. Padres have left 3. And Heath Bell, after 21 pitches in the 10th, comes back to the mound to begin the 11th. Bottom 3 up for Philadelphia. Victorino, Ruiz in the pitcher spot. Curve, strike 1.
What would they say back in the day? We've got ourselves a real barn burner. A hot one.
Well, Abner has done it again. Bell has not gone 2 innings in an outing this year. Heath has not. His season high, an inning and 2/3. Not long ago against LA, win an inning and a 1/3. Victorino fouling it, a ball and 2 strikes. An inning and 2/3. His season log came on July 11th at Colorado. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Now Victorino.
That's a better pitch than the one to Torrealba.
Victorino beefing a bit.
Pretty good pitch.
Probably off the plate just a little bit, though. By the way, the Phillies in extra innings this year, 10-6. 5-2 on the road in extra innings in 2010. Padres 7-6 in extras, 4-3 at home in extra innings. Ruiz walked in the 7th and is 0 for 3. Strike on the outside corner. Rocketed down the right field side and foul.
You know, those line drives that are hitting well like that down the right field line always scare me. Now, from our vantage point, we've got to wait until it gets down towards that foul pole
before you get a little perspective.
Yeah, you get a guy with a little bit of pop, you get a hard thrower like Heath Bell, and you get it upper, outer half. I'm not saying that's Pesky's pole at Fenway Park, but 322 is...
It can go right down the line.
Yeah.
Here at Petco, the 1-2 pitch to Ruiz. Fastball fouled away. Well, the pitcher spot due up next for the Phillies. And Ben Francisco is coming to the on-deck circle. Keeps adding to the pitch count for Heath, which now stands at 30. Each team scored in the 3rd. Phillies are running the 8th. Padres scored with 2 outs and 2 strikes at the bottom of the 9th thanks to a bases loaded balk for Brad Lidge. So we're into the 11th. Chase the curve, the tag, strikeout, 2 gone. Heath's 3rd strikeout.
Expanding the strike zone after getting ahead. You know, sometimes Heath will lower that arm angle a little bit too on that curveball, and it gets that slide, kind of that different type of tilt rather than straight up and down.
So batting for Madsen, Ben Francisco. Wave and a miss at the fastball. Francisco is another SoCal guy.
He was a Servite, right? Servite High School?
Yeah, played at UCLA.
Yeah.
Came up with the Indians and came over with Cliff Lee in that Phillies tribe trade near the deadline in 2009. He was in the hole 0-2. Heath trying to make it a season-high 2 innings.
Hey, in late August, you might have to reach back a little, to get the 2 innings in.
Last time Heath went 2 innings was June 18th of 2009 against Seattle here at Petco Park in interleague play. Giants have lost. Padres at the moment 6.5 up. Phillies at the moment tied with the Giants for the wild card lead. Looked like he held up, no appeal. One, two. Curve in the dirt.
Well, the Phillies still have 2 left-handed bullets down there. Romero and Bastardo.
Yeah, Bastardo just came back up today as they put Danny Baez on the disabled list. So Bastardo has joined Romero as the 2 lefties in Charlie Manuel's bullpen. Curve, got him. Heath Bell strikes out the side in the top of the 11th. Gets him looking with the deuce. Pitcher spot due up in the bottom half. Opener of this 3-game series. New hurler for the Phillies, Chad Durbin.
Chad Durbin, a fastball, slider, cutter. He'll throw a change and also a flip up a curveball. High 80s, low 90s. A little bit of sink on that fastball. Kind of throws across his body just a little bit. He holds his team. I should say he leads this team and holds with 11. Tough on righties. 192 clip batting average against right-handed hitters.
The last time we saw Denorfia yesterday, he was helped off the field. Fortunately, it was just a hamstring cramp. Breaking ball from Durbin is ball 1. Denorfia batting for the pitcher, Heath Bell, who goes a season-high 2 innings. No runs, no hits, a walk, and 4 Ks, the line for Heater.
These are the type of games which are very emotional, no doubt about that. And this is obviously a game that would look huge in the win-loss record column for the Padres.
High strike, 1-2.
Moving up to 7 games with that giant loss to the Diamondbacks.
Top foul onto his foot. Durbin has pitched very well in his home ballpark. A 2.90 ERA at Citizens Bank Park. Rolled out to short. Rollins scoops and gets him by a step. Orphea, the pinch hitter, grounds out. Well, here comes Zach. He has had the magic bat late in the game earlier this year. This was April 19th against San Francisco's Jeremy Affeldt. Sends it just fair off the Western Metal Billy that won that game against San Francisco and got the cold water bath.
I remember after that. I mean, everybody hates cold water, but
I remember he said directly to me, he said, one thing I hate in life is cold water.
Yeah.
Two balls, no strikes. Who's really fond of cold water being poured on them? 2-0 pitch. A high fly to left, but playable for Ibanez. He barely has to move. 2 outs.
Well, Eck got a pitch that he could pull. Remember the home runner showed you it was a pitch down and in. This one, it's right down the middle of the plate. You know, when Eck is going to hurt you, especially with a home run, it's going to be that little two-seamer down and in where you can just drop that hit, almost like a golf swing, and hit it to the shortest part of the park, which would be down the left field line. That one, he just couldn't get out in front of a little bit.
Tejada has put the ball on the ground 4 times. Checks his swing, but takes a strike. The game does indeed move to the 12th. It will fall to Ernesto Frieri for the Padres. That gets through the hole and into left field. Tejada, a 2-out single.
See the late setup by Ruiz behind home plate? He was set up on the inside part of the plate, and Durbin went into his kick, and then he shifted over away. Tejada hangs tough and finds that hole to the left side.
Well, Adrian coming up. He's had a walk-off hit of his own this season, June 2nd against the Mets. Happened to do it with the bases full off Raul Valdez. Sent everybody home that day. Well, we'll see how Chad Durbin works to Adrian with 2 outs in the 11th. Fastball inner half, foul back. Adrian hitless tonight. He was intentionally walked in the 9th by Lidge with first base open and the tying run at second.
On 54-plus innings, Durbin has surrendered 6 round trippers. There's that cutter.
Moved inside, a ball and a strike.
Outfield playing deep. They're going to let that little dunker dive in there for a base hit. Nothing over their heads. The only thing that's going to be over their heads is a home run.
Up high, 2 balls and a strike. If you look at the defense, deep just about all the way around. Outside to Adrian, 3-1.
See Ruiz hold on to that one for about a good 2 seconds after, saying, like, come on now. How can I call that a strike?
That pitch has become a strike more and more later in the game.
Change up.
3-2.
Good movement on that changeup. Right over the heart of the plate.
Full count with 2 outs. Tejada will get a running start. Howard staying on the bag. And the left-handed hitter up. And keep Tejada a little closer. 3-2 to Adrian. And a chopper up to first base side. Howard will take himself and tag Adrian, who tried to slide underneath. But he's retired to end the inning. A 2-out single by Tejada. He's stranded. And this game will move to the 12th. Padres have now stranded 4 as this game heads to the top of the 12th inning with the top of the order due up for the Phils. Ernesto Frieri becomes the 6th San Diego pitcher of the game. They have to take on Rollins, Polanco, and Utley. Rollins reached his first 3 times up tonight with 2 singles and a walk. He scored the game's first run of the 3rd. Since then has grounded to first and fly to left. Strike 1 from Frieri. This game, which has been a terrific pitcher's duel, starting out with Oswalt and Latos into the bullpens in the 12th. Strike call on that outside corner.
Hey, this will be a nice little test for Ernest Frieri, huh? Tight ball game, extra innings, playoff type atmosphere.
Breaking ball is in the dirt. With Frieri on, that leaves Mujica and Stauffer in the Padres bullpen. Stauffer went 4 2/3 yesterday. Fouled away. Phillies scored in the 3rd. Utley singled home Rollins. Torrealba a solo shot in the bottom of the 3rd tied it at 1. Phillies took the lead back in the 8th. Ibanez, an RBI single, scored Utley. Padres tied it with 2 outs, 2 strikes of the 9th on a balk from Lidge. That one a little outside. 2-2.
Have you ever seen that?
What would that be?
Lidge balking. I mean, bases loaded.
No.
Very 1 strike away.
Obscure.
Very, yeah.
A lead play down the left field side.
I mean, I've seen guys balk with a run around 3rd, and the score is whatever, in the 6th inning.
But 1 strike away from a win.
Pretty rare.
Two. Rollins hits it in the air to right. Ludwig back. It's over his head and off the fence. Rollins headed for second. Ludwig chasing it. Rollins thinking three now. Puts on the brakes. Well, when Ludwig had to start chasing that ball back towards the infield, Rollins thinking three, but settles for his 14th two-base hit of the season, and that begins the 12th.
That's one of those areas for a lefty, just to throw the head down and in. And I thought Ryan Ludwig was going to get the good carom. Rollins off and running. He's going to play it safe with nobody out, pulling up at second base. And did you see Ryan Ludwig's throw? It's a laser.
So now Frieri's job becomes that much tougher after the leadoff double. At the heart of the order here for the Phils, Placido Polanco 1 for 5 tonight with a single in the third. In at the infield corners, and Frieri turns. Padres wanting to see if perhaps Polanco is going to try to bunt the runner over to third. Swinging away and a miss, strike one.
You see Polanco that fastball away, trying to take it that way. Good number 2 hitter.
Polanco does not have a sacrifice bunt this year. Phillies are a team that really don't bunt a whole lot, quite frankly. That's up the middle. Diving attempt by Eck, put into center. Rollins racing home. Throw by Durango. Safe. But he's going to argue. And we'll see if Rollins even got a piece of the plate here. The plate umpire, James Hoyt, said he did, and it's 3-2 Phillies. A quick discussion as Bud turns back to the dugout.
You know, I'll be quite honest with you. I was very surprised it was going to even be this close. Durango coming in. Look at this arm. And he got the back part. What a great slide. A great effort by Torrealba. And you know, he whiffed on the tag.
That's a good call by James Hoyt.
Yep. He got the call right.
I think Torrey was just hoping there that he hadn't touched the plate. He had another shot to go get it.
Right.
And they'll put Utley on with first base open. And now Frieri's job to keep this from blowing up any further. As Polanco took second on the throw home.
Tell you what, Durango's showing off the cannon, huh?
That was quite an arm and quite a throw. I'm like you. I didn't think he had really much chance at all to make it even a close play like he did.
And with the throw being where it was to home plate, Torrealba did everything he could to try to concentrate on catching that ball and trying to block home plate. Because it was that good of a throw, he had the ability or the chance to do both. But what a great athletic slide from Jimmy Rollins.
And they put Utley on to try to set up the double play possibility, but it brings up Ryan Howard. Howard struck out in his first 3 at-bats, then singled in the 8th and walked in the 10th. They're ripping at the fastball at 93, strike one. Fouled off. 3-2 Phillies in the 12th. These teams, quick turnaround. 1 o'clock game tomorrow. 1:10 first pitch, which will be aired on Fox. Blanton against John Garland. And another 1 o'clock game Sunday, the finale with Rancho Bernardo's Cole Hamels against Clay Richard. Way up and away. Speared by Torrealba.
Hey, this has been like a playoff game.
Very much a playoff atmosphere. Strike 3 on the inside corner. He gets Howard looking on a fastball. 4th time Howard has struck out tonight. And that is, for the Padres, the important first out of the inning.
And that looked like a pretty good pitch from Ernesto Frieri. Not afraid to try to bury that fastball on the inside part of the plate to the power hitting Ryan Howard. That's a strike.
Great pitch.
That is a nice pitch.
Worth 0 for 4 with a walk.
Does that Will Venable catch seem like last week?
Seems like a long time ago now. It came leading off the 4th inning when he robbed Worth of a home run, reaching over the fence and left. And it almost seems like a different game.
Yeah.
Venable due up 3rd in the bottom of the inning. Ludwig, Headley, and Will 4, 5, and 6. Padres are going to trail it by at least a run. 2 on, 1 out. Phillies with a run in here in the 12th. Bouncy ball. Step on for 1 to first. That's a pair. 6-3 double plays. The Padres turn their first, but now have some work to do on the offensive side. Down 1 going to the bottom of the 12th. The Padres find themselves down to their last 3 outs, just as they did in the 9th when they were able to tie the game thanks to Brad Lidge's balk. By the way, that was Brad Lidge's first balk since 2004. Ludwig, wave and a miss. We also found out that back in 2005, July of 05, Mike Stanton came in for Washington, did not throw a pitch, committed a balk at Milwaukee and lost 4-3.
That's a tough night in the big leagues right there.
Ludwig quickly behind 0-2. Ryan Durbin into his second inning of work. And he strikes out Ludwig on the breaking ball, 1 out. Headley was at the plate with a 2-2 count when Lidge balked home the tying run of the night. 2-2 count and 2 outs. Padres were down to their last strike twice of the night. The appeal, and John Hirschbeck says he went.
Oh, now somebody's chirping at him and he's motioning back to the dugout. You know, okay, I thought he went.
Yeah, he went.
Definitely went. Okay, so the umpire called it. Somebody's yelling from the dugout. If I'm an umpire, I'm just going to let it go. Let them say what they want to say and just forget about it. It's like a little kid who's a pain in the rear. You ignore them, they're eventually probably just going to, they want attention, right?
Breaking ball high. 3 balls and a strike.
You praise good behavior, then you ignore bad behavior. Of course there are, whatever. But anyway, yeah, he went on it.
It's not exactly the golden rule, but
right.
3-1 pitch. That's that borderline strike on the high outside edge. 3-2.
Chase trying to hang tough, and let's see Durbin pitching him away. And with that said, Polanco is way off the bag at third base.
To left, and Ibanez coasting into the corner to make the catch. Padres down to their final out. Now the 3-1 pitch to Headley prior to that fly ball. Let's see what track said.
Yeah, track says it's off the plate.
It should have been ball 4.
Yep.
Will tonight 0 for 4 has fanned his last 2 times. Way upstairs for ball 1. That call. Well, it's been like a prize fight tonight, hadn't it? 2 heavyweights going at it. Back and forth, low scoring.
Close plays.
Fastball inside, 2 balls and a strike.
I'll tell you what, Luis Durango charged that ball nicely. Got a great throw to the plate. He showed me something there on that play.
And it took a great slide by Rollins for him to get in. Padres down to their final strike. Will hang it in. Over 34,000 paid for the first game of this series. Gets off the bat a foul ball.
Way to hang on that curveball.
I was shocked that he even made contact. My next reaction was run, but he did foul it off.
Got to be short, quick to the baseball. Just gets a piece of it.
Sure did. Full count. 2 outs, bases empty, and the Padres 12th down a run. A 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 call ends the night, and the Phillies take the first game of this 3-game series, winning it tonight 3-2. 2 scoreless innings of relief for Chad Durbin, who will pick up the win. And the Phillies in their 4-game losing streak, and have now won 9 of their last 10 here at Petco. Phillies win it 3-2 in 12. We'll take a timeout, come back, and wrap things up after this.